I'm Katie. I am a 19-year-old university student in North Carolina. I'm a daughter, granddaughter, sister, and friend. I am a marathon runner and music video producer. I know that Die Hard is the greatest holiday classic ever put to film. Fight me, Frank Capra! And I have Tourette Syndrome. Tourette Syndrome is a hereditary neurological condition characterized by tics, which are repetitive, involuntary movements or vocalizations. According to the NHS, common tics include blinking, head banging, throat clearing, touching the floor, and more. As I've gotten older, my condition has actually lessened in severity, so while it used to be moderate to severe, now I'm lucky that it is quite mild. This fact, combined with years of learning to manage my symptoms, means that you might not notice my condition unless I told you about it. However, my diagnosis does still affect my life and the lives of people closest to me. If you are watching this video and you have seen some of our other Vagilantes videos, you may say, "But Katie, you don't tick on camera." I do sometimes, I just edit it out. I've actually saved some footage of my tics from previous filming sessions, so let's roll that footage now. Is incurable, many people with TS find ways to manage their symptoms, and for me that way is running. Since I joined my middle school cross-country team at age 13, I have found solace and salvation in the outdoors. In fact, my condition even gave me certain advantages in academics and athletics, cultivating an appreciation for the life and health with which I am blessed. After years of reflection, I am finally ready to talk about it. So, without further ado, here are 10 things that my Tourette syndrome taught me about running. Roll footage! Number 1. Being in my head isn't all bad. Living with Tourette syndrome means that I spend hours locked in my mind, paralyzed by compulsive motion and obsessive thought cycles. But when I'm on a 13-mile run, my rich psychological tapestry gives me an advantage. I've spent so much time wrestling with my own mind that being alone with my thoughts feels natural. The voice in my head keeps me company through those long miles. Number 2. I can take control of my body. When I tick, it feels like my body is moving of its own accord. It's frustrating and at times frightening to feel as though my body has turned against me and stripped me of my agency. Running allows me to regain a measure of control over this body. For me, long periods of exertion are not just spiritually freeing, but physically necessary. Number 3. Try does not necessarily equal true. Coaches have slammed me with all kinds of pro tips to run faster. Running with music, running without music, counting my steps, timing my breaths, using my watch, leaving my watch, negative splits, consistent splits, doing splits. Yikes! However, years of pounding the pavement has shown me that my peak performance comes when I run according to my rules, even if conventional wisdom says otherwise. Years of ticking and training forced me to reckon with my body and mind, assessing and reassessing which practices worked best for my health. I had to realize that what works for someone else might not necessarily work for me, and vice versa. My way is no better than someone else's, nor is it worse. It's just different. And different is okay. Number 4. There is no right way to be. The DSM-5 classifies Tourette syndrome as a tic disorder, a problem that requires treatment. Something broken, something not quite right. Yet this reservoir of nervous energy makes me a better athlete. This neurological abnormality gave me the fortitude to run 26.2 miles. This built-in brain gremlin is just another thread in my identity, like my love of running or my devotion to Justin's chocolate hazelnut butter, not a spawn. Disorder implies wrong, but there is no right way to be. Number 5. When in doubt, rewrap. I get lost often, sometimes in the woods, sometimes in my head. When your brain tries to throw you off, you develop ways to deal with it. You treat it, and if the treatment doesn't work, you try something else. In this regard, neurological and psychiatric conditions are like any other illness. And that's the T. Number 6. I can take this experience and run with it. After I wrote my college essay on my experiences with TS, I realized it was the most honest thing that I had written in my years as a competitive essayist. I narrated my own story with humor and hope, and for the first time, I allowed myself to be truly vulnerable. I wondered if other people might read the piece and feel as liberated as I did telling it, so I decided to publish it. 2 years of revision and decision later, Created Away has been published in 3 countries, 2 continents, and 6 anthologies and counting. As honored as I am to have my work decorated by publishers and read by international audiences, the greatest honor has been to share this deeply personal piece with the friends and family who encourage me to take my ideas and run with them. Number 7. Treatment is a marathon. During my first marathon in November of 2017, I had to stop at mile 18 and bandage my feet because they were bleeding through my shoes. I had a respiratory disease, a pulled hamstring, and a barrage of blisters. But I had also promised myself that I would finish. Now when I experience neurological symptoms, I remember that moment. I didn't finish the race because I was an incredible athlete with elite training. I finished because I kept going, and I apply that same theory in my treatment. My family and doctors help me seek long-term management strategies for my symptoms, so when I do have that mile 18 feeling, I know that I can keep on keeping on. Number 8, I can put my gifts to use. I have been told that I have what some people might call a virulent, stubborn, independent streak. If I have an incurable condition, you best believe that I'm gonna do something with it. If nature says screw you, I'm gonna turn right back around and say, now. Now, bet. I learned to channel my nervous energy into productive tasks. Without TS, I might not have as strong a drive to run or create because engaging in these activities actually helps me relieve some of my symptoms. In addition, this condition gives me compassion and instills in me an unfettered desire to improve public health standards. My first marathon was a fundraiser in support of Wiser, which is a women's public health initiative and boarding school in rural Kenya. I'm a buddy in I Run for Michael, which is a wonderful nonprofit that pairs runners with people with special needs, and then you kind of have a digital pen pal relationship. Shout out to Sean. I applied the same passion to produce a musical public service announcement about gynecology, which you can find in the description. My focus on creating content and spreading awareness about public health was part of the driving force behind the creation of this YouTube channel. And after years of resenting my body and mind, I am finally starting to fall in love with myself. Number 9, I cannot outrun my demons. Exercising my body and mind unfortunately will not exercise the voice in my head. I could sprint from Greensboro to Galilee and old faithful Azazel would be waiting for me at the finish line. Greensboro to Galilee is actually kind of a sick band name. The point is, I will never truly outrun my demons, no matter what I do. They're in my blood and my cells. However, I've realized that the mutation which condemns me to glitch like an infected Lenovo ThinkPad also instills in me an insatiable curiosity and a drive to improve the world. It makes me a better runner, a better writer, a better student, and a better person. It gives me compassion. I cannot outrun my biochemistry, but I can run with it. Number 10. I run better on a team. I used to think that I had to bear my curse alone. I pushed my family away because I was convinced that nobody could possibly understand the obsessive spirals and compulsions in my head. Even though this condition directly affected the people closest to me, and some of them even had it. To truly improve my psychiatric and neurological health, I had to allow myself a measure of vulnerability. I had to join a team. I had to talk to friends. I had to realize that everyone is fighting something and that nobody should endure that something alone. If I have 2 takeaways from my life so far, they are, number 1, oatmeal raisin cookies are a scam and clickbait. We already knew that. Number 2 is that suffering silently doesn't signify strength or maturity. Asking for help does. I've said it before and I'll say it again. None of us, Maggie, Vaishnavi, or I, are healthcare providers. We're not even 20, and for these reasons, I am not in the business of giving hard and fast advice. But I do hope that this story dispels some common misconceptions about neurological conditions and about people with these conditions. If you have any questions about anything that I've covered in this video, please see a professional. Alternatively, I have linked some credible resources in the description so that you can do your own research. In the meantime, it's critical that we keep evaluating and reevaluating the ways in which the healthcare system treats people with psychiatric and neurological conditions. Bye!
G-Y-N-E-C-O-L-O-G-Y. It's a misunderstood field of study, so I'm gonna debunk some myths about the vulva and hymen. Show you all who's the real OG-G-Y-N.